Today on Day in the Life of a Coach is Karen Atwell from Maine in the States. Good morning, Karen.
How are you, Marcy?
I'm good. I got to know Karen very well. I did her supervised coaching with her. She's a recent graduate, a leadership and executive coach who has a whole lot of, about 30 years worth, if I remember right, management experience. So Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to coaching.
Wow, thanks, Marcy. My journey to coaching, I think probably like so many other students at ICA, my journey to coaching was not a direct one, right? So I actually had a very robust career for over 30 years. I'll be 55 tomorrow. Yay.
Oh, happy birthday.
And, thanks. So for over 30 years, I was in sales and sales management, and then eventually sales leadership, and then finally home office leadership, which ended up turning into coaching, a formal coaching role. So mostly financial services firms, Wall Street firms, if you will. So, I obviously didn't expect to ever become a coach. It wasn't something I set my sights for. It was eventually I was offered a position with a company that specifically wanted to build out an internal coaching program. So I spent 4 years as a master coach internally for them, coaching first salespeople and then managers and then executives. So when I was laid off from Wall Street, like thousands of other people in the U.S., I said to myself, gosh, what would I like to do? And I loved the coaching so much that I decided to make it a career. So I made a complete career change and then found ICA as a way to get certified.
Wow, good for you. Very interesting, the various ways people come to coaching. It's always an interesting question. So tell us now, I know that we do a lot here in ICA with developing coaching tools, and it sounds like you probably have developed a few of your own. So tell us about one that's in your toolkit.
Well, okay, great. So I think the one that I use the most is helping my clients understand the difference between transactional conversation and transformational conversation. So when companies especially, and I have no experience outside corporate America, so, but in corporate America, a lot of times companies say that they want to create a coaching program or they want to start coaching internally. And what they really mean is they want their sales managers or their leaders to direct their people with coaching language.
Right.
And it was kind of a softer approach. So what I try to do, and I actually spend a lot of time, whether we're teaching a company how to build a coaching program or whether we're coaching executives and corporate people directly, we really try to help them understand the difference between thinking that you want your coachee to go a specific place, like having a direction. I want my salespeople to increase the number of sales calls they make. Well, that's pretty transactional.
Yeah.
And you can coach someone to transactions. Batting coaches do it every day.
Sure.
Football coaches and everybody else. So, but the transformational type of coaching is the coaching where you make the assumption that the coachee or the recipient already probably has the answers deep down inside.
Right.
And what you're really trying to do is create that safe space and that sort of thought partner space where they can say, gosh, you know what I really need to be doing is making more sales calls. Well, what would it look like if you made more sales calls? That's transformational conversation rather than transactional, which would look much more like, we really want you to be making 25 sales calls a day. What's keeping you from doing that? That's a transactional approach. So that understanding, it's not that one is better than the other, although I personally prefer transformational conversation. It's that understanding, teaching a coach to actually know that when they're doing it so that they can call it what it is. And helping a coachee understand that they need to call it what it is can really make a difference in helping somebody make permanent change.
Yeah, which is what this is about more often than not. Transformational is about sustainable change.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that you go back and forth depending on the situation and the needs of the coachee and the company that you're working with, right?
Certainly. I mean, one of the reasons that for instance, corporate America likes to hire coaches that have sat in the seat or been a leader out in corporate America, or life coaches. If you're going to coach moms on, with new babies, then it would be great if you'd been a mom with a new baby. It makes more sense. So, again, a lot of times they like that because I'm able to not just coach, but I'm actually able to change my hat a little bit and teach and be transactional. So just giving them some skill building, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And helping the clients understand when I have what hat on is also a really good thing. So that I could say, well, listen, if I take my coaching hat off for a moment, would you like me to give you some information? But again, calling it what it is so that people are empowered to be able to use that understanding later on themselves without you there.
Great. Oh my gosh, this is fascinating to me. Coaching, the core competencies of them really are learned maybe in a very straightforward way, especially here at ICA. But then what you do with these skills, I mean, you really blend them, whether you're blending them as a mom, like you said, or as a corporate consultant. It's very interesting to me. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your company, Dynamic Perspectives.
Well, we started Dynamic Perspectives probably the same week we registered for ICA, and I can tell you that I've been running into many students that are getting their certification before they start their coaching business, and then other people who have been coaching for years and want to get certified. Starting them both at the same time was a bit of a struggle, and I know we've had conversations around this, Marcy. So our company really focuses on the creation and implementation of structured coaching solutions inside companies. So, for instance, for one client, we're helping them build an entire internal coaching department to increase the speed to productivity of their salespeople. We have another client right now where we're helping them build a structured coaching program so that instead of using outside executive coaches for everyone in the leadership ranks, which gets very expensive, they can provide some internal executive coaching for the first frontline managers primarily, their entry-level managers, so that people get used to being given coaching support, professional coaching support. So, for instance, that company, they're going to register the 3 people that will be in that department at ICA to get their certification. So they'll be actual certified professional coaches when they're done. So we do a lot of that. We also work with our clients around the creation of coaching support post-training. So this idea of how do you take training that happens in a classroom and implement it into change out when you get out into the field or back to your desk. And that really is best done when you have some kind of accountability or coaching support to help somebody think about, I learned it, but how do I apply it? How does it make sense to what I do? So those are really the big key bullets of what we do.
Right. And your website is www.dynamicperspectives.com.
Yes.
Okay, great. In case our viewers want to check it out. So
Absolutely.
So my last question is, if you could tell the world, given that the world is watching us right now, if you could tell them one thing about coaching, what would it be?
Well, I think there's so many things I could say, but I think the thing that continues to sort of astound me, and I don't know why it continues to astound me because I should be used to it by now, but after 5 years of professional coaching, I'm still astounded at how humbling coaching is, because when I'm coaching someone, and it's generally someone who has a job that I have done in the past, not specifically that job, but I've been a salesperson, or I've been a manager, or I've been a leader, or whatnot. And as I'm coaching them and they're making discoveries, I realize that had I had coaching support, had I had somebody to help me make these discoveries, I would have been way better than I was. And every time I coach somebody, I see things that I could have done better or things that I can be doing better now.
Yeah.
So by coaching others, I end up coaching myself. And that to me is always a surprise. And I feel like I want to say to the client, I'm getting more out of this
than you are.
So it helps me in my parenting. It helps me in my friendships.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me in my community relationships. So it's coaching. You will not only get paid, but you will also receive so many internal sort of spiritual benefit from it, and it's really amazing.
Oh, that's beautifully said. Thank you, Karen.
Welcome.
Well, thanks for joining us, and as I like to say, have a great day in your life, and have a great day in your life, everyone out there.
Thank you, Mercy.